Imagine you wake up tomorrow, and there are $4 million in your bank account. Every problem you've ever had with money, gone in an instant. Now here's the part nobody warns you about. Statistically, you are now in danger, because roughly 70% of people who suddenly come into a fortune lose all of it. And a stunning number of them end up worse off than before they got rich. Not because the money ran out on its own, because their own brain quietly went to work, destroying it. This isn't about being bad with spreadsheets. There is a specific documented glitch in the human mind that switches on the moment wealth arrives. And it makes people sabotage the exact thing they spent their whole life wanting. By the end of this, you'll recognize it, and you'll understand why the danger isn't running out of money. It's getting it. Psychologists actually have a name for what happens to those lottery winners. They call it sudden wealth syndrome. And the first thing to understand is that the danger doesn't come from the money. It comes from the speed. The human brain is remarkably good at adjusting to wealth, but only when it arrives slowly. When it shows up all at once, the brain has no time to build the habits, the skills, or the identity to hold it. Here's what that actually looks like from the inside. The win arrives, and there's an explosion of euphoria. Neuroscientists describe it as a flood of dopamine, the same chemical surge involved in addiction. But that high fades fast, and what rushes in to replace it is something nobody expects. Anxiety. Suddenly you're terrified. What if you lose it? Who can you trust? Why do your friends look at you differently now? People you love start turning into, in the words of one winner, vampires, trying to drain the life out of you. And here's the cruel twist the research keeps finding. Many winners report being less happy after the win than before. The thing they were sure would fix their life became the most stressful event in it. The money didn't solve their problems. It detonated a set of new ones they were never prepared for. But sudden wealth is the dramatic version. There's a quieter sabotage that happens to almost everyone, even people who earn their money slowly. And to understand it, you have to understand something strange about the brain that grew up without enough. Two researchers, Mullainathan and Shafir, spent years studying what scarcity does to the mind, and they found something remarkable. When you don't have enough, of money, of time, of security, that feeling doesn't just sit quietly in the background, it takes over the brain. They called it a bandwidth tax. Picture your mind as a computer running too many programs at once. Everything slows down. In their experiments, simply making people worry about money dropped their performance on thinking tasks by the equivalent of around 14 IQ points. That's a bigger hit than losing a full night of sleep. Now sit with what that means. Scarcity doesn't just empty your wallet, it quietly reaches into your head and makes it harder to think your way out. The very situation that demands your best decisions is the one that steals your ability to make them. And here's the part that matters even if you eventually get money. That wiring doesn't switch off when your bank balance goes up. The brain that learned there is never enough at age 8 does not suddenly feel safe at age 45 with a full account. It carries the ghost of scarcity. It keeps making decisions out of fear, long after the fear stopped being true. So you've got two forces now, the shock of money arriving too fast and the ghost of never having had enough. Put them together and you get the engine of self-sabotage. It works like this. Deep down, your brain has a setting for what normal feels like, a financial comfort zone it was calibrated to long ago. When reality suddenly rises far above that setting, it doesn't feel like a dream. It feels wrong, unfamiliar, like wearing someone else's clothes, and the brain hates that mismatch. So it does something almost unbelievable. It starts steering you back down, toward the level it recognizes. Researchers find that some people will unconsciously spend, gamble, or give away money, specifically to return to the financial state they feel they belong in. This is why guilt is so dangerous here. When the money feels unearned, pure luck, a quiet voice says you don't deserve it. And people will sabotage to silence that voice, giving fortunes to demanding relatives, spending wildly just to feel like themselves again, making reckless bets to feel the rush one more time. Every one of these is the brain trying to get home, back to the only money reality it ever understood. The tragedy is that it works. The money goes, and the brain sighs with relief. Finally, this feels familiar again. It mistook comfort for safety, and it burned down the future to get it. So if this glitch is built into all of us, why do some people keep the money and even thrive? The research points to a few clear patterns, and none of them are about being a financial genius. The first one is almost funny in how simple it is. The winners who stayed wealthy barely changed their lifestyle. They kept living roughly the way they had before and let the rest sit and grow. They never let their normal explode, so their brain never panicked to drag them back. The second pattern is about preparation, but not the financial kind. The people who handled sudden money best had usually imagined it for years. They'd thought about what they would do, rehearsed it in their minds. So when it arrived, their brain didn't scream, "This is wrong." It said, "I've been here before." They weren't improvising in the most important financial moment of their lives. They were executing a plan they'd already lived 100 times in their head. And the third is the hardest. The people who do well treat the arrival of money as a psychological event, not just a financial one. They understand that the work isn't only in the spreadsheet, it's in the nervous system. You can hand someone $10 million, but if they still believe deep down, they'll lose it all. They will behave in exactly the ways that make that true. The number in the account was never the thing that mattered. The brain holding it always was. So here's where this leaves you. If part of you has ever quietly feared getting what you want, if you've watched money arrive and felt a strange urge to get rid of it, to spend it, to make it go away, you're not broken and you're not irrational. You're running a brain that was calibrated for a world of not enough, trying to survive a sudden world of plenty. But here is the freedom in knowing this. The sabotage only has power while it's invisible. The moment you can feel it happening, the urge to spend back down to normal, the guilt whispering that you don't deserve it, the panic dressed up as a shopping spree, you can finally do the one thing your ancestors never could. You can pause and choose differently. Money was never just math, it was always a mirror, showing you the beliefs about scarcity and safety you've carried your whole life. And the day you stop trying to get back to normal is the day the money finally gets to stay. If this made something click, the subscribe button is right there. It's free, and it helps these videos reach the next person who needs to hear it.